ahead and do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to share my screen because as I mentioned earlier, what we're going to actually be doing, I keep talking about updating memos, but in reality, what we are doing is creating new memos. So let me back out here. And Edom has a lot. Okay.
I'm done with mine.
Edom, good for you. You're on it. Okay, let's see. I think I'll go with, is it Arnold, Abigail? I'm not sure, Debbie, if this person has an increase or not, because what we're going to be doing is the other thing. I'll talk a little bit about the increases also for July 1st, 2021. And I can move this over a bit.
Pat, can you share Gert Cedars?
Cedars?
Yeah, because it has he has.
I'm sorry. I can't hear.
He has stipend from ETA as well.
Okay. Is he in here in this area? Didam in the
I'm
AD?
sorry, he's under MST, under Eva's group and Debbie's group. He has stipend from ETA, even though he's under MST. So it might be a good case because we are doing in collaboration. We are creating one memo for him in collaboration with MST and ETA.
Oh, this is the one that has like the 10,000 different
Right.
PIDs, right? Okay,
Right.
yes. This is, yeah, this one's a little bit more complex. So, okay, I'll go ahead and work with Cedar for now. This one is in Eva's area. And Debbie, this would be, I guess you would be probably handling this one too.
Yes.
So this is the current memo that is up right now. And what I've done is I put everybody's memo, all the current memos are in these folders. I'll back up a bit here so we can see. And I sent everybody a link to get into this AY 21-22. And you can even go further back. We had from the memos from 19 to 20, and then from 20 to 21, and now we're in this one here, 21 to 22. This one here is where I'm starting to put training videos, and I'll also start putting like checklists and things like that into this area. So I'll do a second meeting to let everybody know that this is an area that where to go look for your trainings and recordings. So in here, I'm going to go ahead. This is where I have all the folders set up, and they're by division. And in each area, I think I have the senior division partner listed in here. Actually, Didam, like you went ahead and changed it to your name. That is fine because you're the person that's listed on the memos. So if anybody wants to make name changes on this to their name, if they're the person in charge, like Debbie, I don't know, talk with Dina to see if maybe have your name, have your last name put in here. So I'll go ahead and take a look at Cedar. And in here, we'll have the most recent memos. The thing is, if you look in this archive folder, I have the memos from the beginning of all of 2021. So this is everything that we had in the past, but they're the old memos. So I put them in an archive folder. So what I did was all of the other folders that I had on my shared drive, on my drive, I just put them in here. So I know these are the most recent ones. If you look at the first one, is going to be your Excel. That's your calculation sheet. That's the sheet that was used to create the memo for the calculations. Then I put it into a PDF once it's been settled, everything is good, we review it. And the PDF here, what this is, it's a PDF of this memo here, which is the actual like Google Doc memo or the Word doc. I also have Word doc versions. We can download this to Word doc. So this in particular, this is a revision. If you also note the date at the top, what we're going to want to do is to make a copy of this. So Debbie, do you mind if I go ahead and make a copy? And actually we can work on it.
Not at all.
Okay.
You need to do a couple of renditions, perfectly fine too.
Okay, and it'll say copy for now, but I'm going to show you guys what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and change this to FY 21-22. And then we want to get rid of the revision 4 at the end, because this is not a revision. This is actually a new memo. And I would then get rid of also the word copy. But for now, I'm going to leave that just so that we know, in case I don't finish it, Debbie, that you can go back and finish it, okay? But what I would do after you finish it is remove the word copy of. Click OK. And you should be able to locate it inside the same folder, this copy. So you see it's right here. It's still in the Cedar folder. So that's where the copy goes. So what we want to do first is we want to start with a new date, which would be today's date. (2021). Heather Archer is the person who does all the approvals, so that would stay the same. Now in here, Debbie, would your name be going in here? Do you know? You'll be taking over the memos or not?
I think so.
Okay, go find out. For now, I'm just going to highlight it because this is an area that just double check and make sure it's up to date. When you fill it out, I'm going to, like I said, Debbie, I'm going to leave this for you to finish. Go ahead and make the changes there. And then remember, if you wanted to get rid of the highlight, just come up here and say none. But for now, I'll just leave it highlighted so you can see it. LBNL, Joint Faculty Memo. That's Doctors Cedar. Again here. Now, what I would start doing here, because what we're going to want to do is change all of these years. So what you can do is do a, let's see, we want to do, insert, where is that, tools? Find and replace. Okay, so we want to find is everything that's 2020. And we're going to replace, no, actually, let's do 2021 first, because otherwise it's going to be harder to go back and replace 2020. I'm going to replace that with 2022. So you can look and see where it is all sitting at here. These are all the 2021s. So. Actually, let me back up and double check that again. I want to make sure. Did you do it already? Okay, so let's double check just to make sure I'm not going to pick up any project IDs. So I don't see any project IDs highlighted. Okay, we're good there. All right, I just got a little bit, I should have checked that first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say replace all, the 2021s first to 2022. Now I'm going to look for 2020 and replace it with 2021. So let's take another look just to make sure I'm not picking up project IDs. It's sitting in the spots I want it to be. Okay. Replace all. So I'm going to take another look. So this is year 2021. This is not a revision, so we want to remove that. And then just kind of read through the memo, make sure everything still applies. This one happens to be a joint faculty appointment. So everything about this is kind of standard in the middle here, where it talks about joint faculty appointment. And then in here, it talks about what Dr. Cedar will be doing. He'll be leading internationally recognized material. Make sure that this like statement of work still applies to the joint appointment and nothing has changed. The other thing too, you want to make sure if anything has changed concerning stipends or concerning percentages. When it comes to joint appointments, 50% is the norm. That is what it normally would be. Anything out of that, we would have to have an exception and have an additional approval. So the dates are going to be for the academic year. Now here's an area, take a look. It doesn't say 2020, so we're going to change this here. That's why you want to still go through, kind of go through it line by line. The academic year 21-22 is July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Now in this case, Dr. Cedar also has a stipend. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So in addition, it talks about what he's going to continue to do. Also check and make sure that the stipend is something that will continue to happen for this next academic year. So again, the stipend will continue to receive a fixed monthly stipend. In this case, it's a fixed amount. In some cases, it could be a percent of salary. So that's the other thing to also just verify. Are we still, continuing with the fixed amount, or has anything changed? Stipends will only be received between September 1st through May 31st. And the reason for that is because we cannot pay both a stipend and summer salary if the faculty member chooses to partake in summer salary, and if it's allowed through their contract as far as with us. So in this case, Dr. Cedar does have a stipend. So we want to make sure here where it says salary support July 1st through August 30th and June 1st through June 30th. In this case, this is where he's just receiving his salary support only. If you notice the box, like right below where it says June 1st, it says monthly stipend cost, that is 0. And same thing as the CBR, which is the burden rate, is also 0. So right now, I think I have about 8 faculty members that do have an update as far as there was a salary increase for July 1st, 2021. And I'll send out emails individually to you guys that do have faculty that have that. I think most of them happen to fall in, unfortunately, Debbie's area. I've sent her a couple for chemical sciences, and I think there's one for JGI. So anyway, I'll let you know if you don't receive the email stating that you need to update this person's salary through UC Path, then everybody's salary is the same. Nothing has changed at that point.
Pat, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Especially for Cedars. So when MSD creates those memos, they are basically putting the percentages in the parentheses on each PIDs. But
Yes.
How can we make sure a certain amount is charged from a particular PID if there's a fixed amount? So for example, on that memo, if I remember correctly, I made a couple of adjustments to this morning. It says 13.1% for the PID that is from ETA. It ends with 0.25.
Mhm.
And I'm just not sure how the percentages is calculated. And if we can make a second, separate section maybe for stipends that doesn't have this, percentage on it, because it is not included in their 50% appointment. It is a separate, on top of the 50% appointment, it's a separate payment that is made, right? So I don't know if 13.1% makes any sense to those individuals who are getting stipends, because Cedars, for instance, he's getting fixed stipend, and so there's no percentages attached to it based on his.
I remember this one in particular. This one we actually had to back in to figure out what the percentage is, because being a fixed amount, we still had to apply a percentage to these the project IDs. So I think if you want to, in this particular one, because this is really uncommon to have this many project IDs, I'll be honest with you. It's a real unusual case, because I think I might have 1 or 2 other memos.
I think Christine Person has like 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's a few that have maybe a couple, but the majority have 1. So this one was really unusual. And I remember I'd have to check and see how we worked it out. If we
I just want to make sure that you are.
Oh yeah. This was, we had to, because I had to work with
67 per month. Yeah.
Right. I had to work, because this was a fixed amount. And I had to work into it backwards. And I probably have a whole bunch of emails going back to this how we came up with that percent.
Okay.
So,
sounds good.
Yeah. So anyway, and like I said, this particular one, it was, because they didn't want to pay for anything beyond just the stipend. This particular PID was only about the stipend. So we had to actually back into that number and figure it.
Got it. Okay, great.
So
I'm glad to hear that. It's under control.
It's totally under control. It's not an arbitrary percentage. Yeah. And the other thing too, if you're doing multiple project IDs like this one is, we have to apply a percentage to each project ID, and the whole percentage has to account for 100%. So you can't have less than 100, you can't have more than 100. So we have to kind of split up the pie as to how much to charge each when you have multiples.
Oh,
So,
okay, makes
yeah,
sense.
that's
Okay,
only when you have multiples.
got
So,
it, makes sense.
and again, if you do have a new salary, excuse me, you would probably have to, you would then have to go and update your base monthly salary that would be billed. So in this case, though, I don't think Cedar has as part of the merit increases. I'll go back and check, but again, go through your dates. Check if there's any other dates in here, like there's this year 2021 in here. So we want to change that to, wait, which one am I in? Oh, this is the real one. We'll get back out of here.
So before you move forward, I know that Tracy already asked this question, but I may have missed the answer of it. So all the salaries that we in UCPath, all the salaries are in UCPath right now, right? If they received already merit increase, we don't have to contact the campus to get this information.
Basically what it is with what's in the UCPath right now is most of the increases, when we do large increases, like, I mean, not large increases, but large amounts of employees, of faculty members, we do an upload. But for the July 1st, 2021, we're going to have to actually do manually increase each individual because I only have 8. So I can't see bothering HRIS to upload 8 people. So I'm just going to ask the field for you guys to just go ahead and do the increase through UCPath. But yeah, you should be able to go in there if it's entered correctly. So there's a few that I've seen in UCPath, and I'm going to come back to the field and mention that some of them were entered incorrectly. So I do get a list. I get the validations from Heather every, like, definitely once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending if a merit increase. Like, for instance, I had an additional one that just came through not that long ago that we're going to be doing an upload. That's going to be for a 2020 July 1st increase that happened. It's a retro increase. And I have maybe, and most of those, most of them are like regular faculty. And even if they were with memos, those will go through that whole process too. So it's only going to be the 2021s. And again, if I see anything that looks out of place because, say, Heather gave me a different dollar amount, then I'm going to maybe reach out to you about doing a correction.
Thank you. And you mentioned that you already have 8 employees salary notifications for 7-1 merit increase.
Yes.
And are you going to be sharing this with us? Because
yes, I'll be doing that.
Already used whatever UCPath has, and I may have someone in this list. I hope not, but that would be great. So we can use the correct numbers instead while we are doing the UCPath corrections. Or
at the same time. And again, I'll let you know because I do have a couple that I can tell it's a correction because it's like, this is a 0.02% increase. I don't think so, you know. So I go back and verify, and then as long as Heather says it's not a merit, you know, there's nothing else, but this is a correct salary, then we'll just call it a correction.
Got it. Okay.
So, and again, I'll be putting, and hopefully right after we have this meeting, I'm getting that list together and getting it out to everybody. And again, if you don't receive anything, assume that you didn't have anybody to update as far as the salary increase goes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, now the other thing too, so basically in here, also this part here, which says salary support September through May, this is a section where you can have both your salary support, which is base salary, there's part of a 50% of the monthly base salary, and the CBR for the base salary is here. You can also have the stipend. So this is the time frame between September 1st and May 31st that you can have both salary support and stipend. So as I was mentioning up here, these dates look kind of strange because you can basically, you go from July 1st through August without a stipend, and then June 1st through June 30th without a stipend. And because basically what we did is we chose these summer months in case anybody wants to do summer salary, we'll still stay compliant. So when we get down to this portion here, if you have any questions, this is the area actually we should have the HR division partners, their email address, name and email address, that would be good to have there. The monthly CBR, this year, the CBR is the same, so it didn't change. So that was another good thing. You're not going to have to deal with that in the calculation sheet because otherwise we'd have to update that also. So that did not change. Fixed dollar amount, again, unless this particular one has a fixed dollar amount, otherwise it would have a % of salary. That still stayed the same, and it's over 9 months. So that's the other thing, Dina, it got a little bit interesting because we had to look at what this whole, it was a monthly fixed dollar amount, but we're also only paying it out in 9 months, not in 12. So that got interesting as far as running calculation too, to come up with this number.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, and then also here's your monthly CBR. The other area, please verify, are all the CCs. Is everybody on here? This one in particular, Debbie, you're on this one. Double check your senior HR division partners, is everybody on this list that should be on this list? So once you have everything updated, again, this needs to go back and make sure you take a look at it because I didn't update anything else. Remove copy of. I can go ahead, I'm going to close it. I'm going to come back in here. This is my copy of. If you come out in here, you see all these new memos. So we want to put it in there. So you can say, go into copy of, right mouse click, then you can say move to. You can go back out to this outside and then new memos, and I would move it in there. Just click on that and then you'd say okay down here. So for now, I'm going to leave it here. The other thing that does need to be updated is this calculation sheet. Same thing. This one, it's for 2021. So don't worry about that little statement at the top. It talks about some details may change, but it seems to be fine. So I'm also going to do the same thing here is I'm going to make a copy. And I'm going to change the date. And I'm going to remove the revision in the name because it's not a revision. I'm going to leave it in the same folder, say okay. So we have the copy. Close this other one just so. Okay, so now we have the copy here. The name is fine. We want to make the change here. 21 to 22. That's fine. It says some Excel will be dropped just fine. Don't worry about that. This is going to be initial. And then you want to change it to the date that you made the change, which would be today's date. If there was any change to salary, you'd make that change here. Stipend, in most cases, you would have a percentage, but this one was not a percentage. So what we had to do in this case, we had to use a fixed amount to figure out what the annual amount was. So the annual amount came to 15,000. So this one's a little bit odd, like I said, because normally you would just fill in these percentages here, percentages here. Oh, why doesn't he have the salary support? Okay. Let's see what the other ones now. Did we remove salary support on Cedar?
They have 50% joint faculty with them.
Yeah, I don't know why that calculation's like that. It's weird. Let's see. Yeah, there's a 50% there. Okay, I just put it back in. Just double check though, make sure that when you make your copy that everything copies over. So yeah, there's the 50%. The stipend, like I said, it was fixed. Your CBR is the same, so that didn't change. And a lot of these, just the calculations run all the way through. So this is telling you the monthly, what the stipend, when stipend is paid, what the monthly amount total is, and when the stipend is not paid, what the monthly total is. And then we have the annual for everything in this corner. The other thing that folks, I just want to remind everybody too, this calculation sheet, you can also use it, say for instance, you have a regular faculty that we hired and we just need to get them in the system. What is the right amount of salary that you put in? The majority of the time, campus will be giving you an academic salary, meaning it's 9/12 of an annual salary. So when they give you an academic salary, you'd enter that into cell number B8, and that the rest of the calculations will run through. What it does is it actually calculates, if you look at the next line down, which is row 9, this is this is our UC summer salary rate. This is the rate that you want to put into UC PAP. And if you see that where it's colored bright pink, that's the monthly amount. So that way you will calculate to the $347,000 amount, which is the 1/9 of 9/12. So this is the rate that we pay in our system. So remember that we want to put this rate in the system because this is what we actually physically pay out when we pay them summer salary. So that's a real important rate. The other one right below that is how stipends are calculated. So we're allowed to take the 9/12 academic annual salary increase by 16% and round it to the nearest 100. So that's what this calculation is inside of that box. So basically, once you just enter at the top there, and then enter your percentages for salary support, stipend, and so forth, it will just run all the calculations for you. So now this is going to be a brand new one for 21-22. Again, I'm going to leave it as copy. Debbie, just in case, it does need to be updated and you know which one's a copy. And then again, too, once you're done with that, we'll move it. We're going to save that copy. So this is something I'm working on here. Where am I at? Did I get out altogether? I think I did by accident. Okay, so here's your copy. You can then move this copy to the outer part where we have the new memos. So every time you guys update and complete a copy, put it in your AY 21-22 new memos folder. So every division will have that folder. And what I'll do is I'll just go through each one of those folders and I will then take those as long as there's nothing that needs to be changed. And I'll create PDFs and I'll create that one big memo that gets sent over to Heather. So that's, I think, pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions. Did you guys get the last part? Hello?
It's all good, I guess.